That in mind, the Labour MP Peter Carl joins us now, the Business Secretary. Great to have you on the programme. Big week.
It is a very big week. It is a very big week. And with you doing that introduction, by not asking those questions, I'm sure the questions that you are going to ask me are going to be much more difficult to answer.
Well, that's it. And we'll hopefully have a bit more of an honest conversation, right?
Let's
about that's the aim anyway. The reason I was talking about some economists, some business leaders saying they're going to duck the difficult decisions is partly from what the CBI have said today. The business group, you're talking at their conference, which could be a bit awkward, of course.
I'm looking forward to it.
Their boss has come out to say the government needs to change course and make hard choices to avoid death by 1,000 taxes. Well, I mean, what would you say to that?
I say that, actually, I agree, we do have to make hard choices. I think we've seen, because of the period of instability that we have come into as a government, that we have to break out of this awful cycle of high tax and low growth. Now, you can't change that overnight, because we do need to. We've inherited that sort of vice-like grip on our economy, that spiral that we inherited. The only way we're going to get out of that is by getting growth into the economy, by doing things very, very differently. Now, we've already found ways of investing in the economy, in our public services. We've increased our R&D budget. We've got big infrastructure projects off the ground. But I think we have to go further. And I think in the coming...
Well, growth hasn't gone up, has it? It sounds like it...
Well, actually, Sophie, it has. We were the fastest growing economy for the first 6 months of this year in the whole of the G7.
What was growth?
So
what was growth?
Well, it was about 0.3% per quarter. So
that's what I mean. It's like, it sounds really great when you say it's the biggest bit coming.
Sophie, don't get me wrong.
It's like a pancake.
Don't get me wrong. We need much more growth in our economy. The Chancellor has admitted this. I, as Business Secretary, are saying it. We need much higher growth, and we will be doubling down on that. Now, you have to get the fundamentals of that right. We had broken public services. You can't have growth when you've got 5 million people who are out of work because of sickness. You can't have growth when the transport infrastructure isn't working. These are the things that government can do collectively to deliver the foundations for growth. But let's not kid ourselves. That growth will come from business. Now, we've had the industrial strategy, 10-year stability in policy making. I today am announcing a scheme that's going to lower the cost of electricity by 25% for 7,000 businesses.
Just on that, since you brought it up, you say you're cutting electricity bills for manufacturers by up to 25%. From what? 25% from what?
Well, 25% from where the cost will be at the start, where the scheme comes in. Now, we're consulting on that at the moment. We're launching the consultation. We'll have to legislate for it. We'll have to consult for it. But when we bring that scheme in...
Because the reason I'm asking that is because, Ed Miliband promised to cut bills by £300, but we don't... £400 from what? So we have no way of judging whether that's actually happened.
Yes. So what we're doing is looking at the government side of the costs on business. And there's a lot of work we can do there. So we've gone through... It is an incredibly difficult and complicated energy system that we have here, and the incentives and some of the charges that the government is responsible for. We're doing things like making sure that the way that we judge inflation throughout the system is now standardised and it's moved to a more standard system. These are very nerdy, very sort of down in the roots of things, but it does mean that for those 7,000 businesses, that we will be able to reduce their energy costs by 25%. That is quite extraordinary. It will bring us much more into line with the EU average for costs. It won't get there entirely, but we'll start moving in that direction. It'll make us more competitive so that people can start using, and businesses can start using, those 3 great trade deals that we've struck in the last year. And it will mean that it'll lower the costs for consumers, again, driving that virtuous circle of getting growth into the economy that we need.
You were saying there that growth comes from business leaders and from businesses, right? Mm-hmm. And I just wondered, because we did have the news that Lakshmi Mittal is leaving the UK. Now, he's a billionaire. He's topped the rich list several times. He's also previously donated to the Labour Party, I should say. And this, I guess this is a genuine question. Are you worried, honestly, about some of the super rich leaving the UK, or if they're not prepared to pay the amount of taxes that you think they should, do you not really care?
I am worried whenever somebody feels that they have to leave the UK in order to succeed. We've gone through a period where loads of doctors, thousands of doctors, have left the country.
But just specifically, on the kind of billionaire thing, right?
No, I understand. So whenever anyone needs to leave the UK to succeed, I think it's a worry. What I don't want to do is be, as a country, just focus just on the billionaires, because there are other people that have needed to leave. There are people starting businesses that have gone to America, actually in their droves, because they haven't had the funding that they need in this country to succeed. And that is something that we are fundamentally stopping the need for by recapitalising the markets here and putting a lot of work in for those spin-outs and those start-ups, those scale-up companies.
Do you acknowledge that some of it is because of the tax decisions of this Labour government?
I do.
You do?
Yes,
is that a problem?
I do. Now, I'm not going to duck the fact that we have put up taxes and we've closed some of the loopholes for non-doms. On the other hand, we've set up this a global talent task force. We have set up a global talent visa. We are making it easier for people to come here who have high talents. Now, some people are going to leave because they were here because of the way that the old non-dom system worked. There are other people who are coming to this country because of the excitement that's in our economy at the moment, the fact we're investing in AI, that people like Jensen Huang from NVIDIA, the biggest company in the world, says we're going through a Goldilocks moment as a country when it comes to AI. So lots of people are coming here because of the new excitement in our country. But I accept, because of some of the decisions we've made, like closing those non-dom tax loopholes, some people will feel the need to leave.
Can I ask you about David Cameron? He's spoken about being diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he's calling for a targeted screening programme. And I'm particularly interested because you talk a lot about AI, right, and about new tech, and you've spoken about its use in screening as well. Is that something that you think we should be much more ambitious about?
Most hospitals now have AI built into their radiography departments. I went to the first one, which was actually a couple of years ago at Huddersfield Hospital. And the thing that struck me there was that, as it was being described to me, as I saw patients going through it, I just kept thinking about my mum. My mum had died a decade or so earlier. She had been scanned 3 times, and all 3 times it missed the cancer that was growing within her. She collapsed and died a few weeks later. There is no question in my mind that if she was scanned using the modern scanning techniques used in most hospitals in the UK now, she would be alive today. When you put that into the context of where technology is going, in the next decade, it could well be that we start solving diseases entirely by applying the latest AI technology to the way that drug discovery and medical advancements are happening. So we could move to a period where my mum could have been prevented from having cancer in the first place, and we could even cure cancers in the next decade. That is where technology is going. And right now, Britain is at the forefront of these developments, and that is why it's so exciting. We need to make sure that those developments happen here, the scientific advancements, but also we keep the intellectual property and the commercialisation of it and the benefits from it here within our own economy.
Just very finally, because I know you kind of come out swinging sometimes in stories like this, Nathan Gill, former Reform leader in Wales, jailed for 10.5 years on Friday. Reform have said that he's nothing to do with them really now, as Yousaf telling Trevor Phillips he's ancient history, he's never met him, never heard of him. It's unreasonable to besmirch everybody in Reform about what happened with Nathan Gill. I just wondered your reaction to what we've seen.
Some political parties do have outliers, and they are things which are sort of completely out of the ordinary. But with Reform, they have a Russia problem in their party. Nigel Farage has often lent into Vladimir Putin. He has used his talking points. Nigel Farage has often praised Vladimir Putin in the past. So it is clear that there is a culture within Reform which has lent them towards the kind of strongman sort of Russia of the past, but also it is the present as well, and they have this problem within their party.
He would dispute that, right?
Of course he would.
He says that that is absolutely just coming from kind of Labour smears, if you like, that he's done a lot more recently to kind of put distance between him and Putin. Well,
just look at the facts. Look at what he's said in the past. Look at the amount of times he's appeared on Russian TV networks. Look at the times he has praised Vladimir Putin. Look at the times when he's explained away the decisions of Vladimir Putin and Russia.
He's condemned him more recently, it's fair to say, right?
More recently, when the entire country has realised just how dangerous Vladimir Putin is, of course, Nigel Farage does a reverse ferret, as he often does. Nigel Farage will talk out of both sides of his mouth, but he's been consistent about one thing in the past over many, many years, and that is support and his admiration for Vladimir Putin. It is no wonder that people like the former leader of the Reform Party in Wales gravitates towards the Reform Party more than any other.
Peter Carr, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.
Speaking to us there on the programme.